Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with Monday Night Raw, broadcast live last night on the USA Network from the Legacy Arena at the Birmingham Jefferson Convention Complex in Birmingham, Alabama. In the main event, Judgment Day emerged as the winners of a 5-team gauntlet match to determine the new number one contenders to the Raw Tag Team title held by the Usos as one half of their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. Judgment Day started the match eliminating the OC, the Hurt Business, Alpha Academy, and finally the Street Profits on their way to victory. The original Judgment Day pairing for the match was Damian Priest and Finn Balor, but Balor was replaced towards the end by Dominic Mysterio after he took a Vader bomb from Otis of Alpha Academy and was taken out of the match. In the opening match, Kevin Owens, number one contender to Roman Reigns' Universal title, defeated Baron Corbin. Owens was attacked by the Usos and Solo Sikoa of the Bloodline after the match, but managed to run them off with a chair. Later in the show, Sikoa defeated Dolph Ziggler in a one-on-one match.
What a dangerous position Kevin Owens is in right now. Oh!
What Owens is swinging in there.
Taking Mike Rome's shoe, Graves. A chair to the midsection and across the back of Solo Sikoa.
Owens like a man possessed with the equalizer, taking out the Bloodline.
A man possessed, you could say that again.
Owens is bold enough to storm the shores of the island of relevancy, and this round goes to Kevin Owens.
Bobby Lashley returned to action, announcing that his suspension has been lifted and taking out United States champion Austin Theory during an in-ring promo segment with Seth Rollins. Following the match, MVP offered to bring Lashley back to his Hurt Business faction, but Lashley refused. In other results, Bayley pinned Mia Yim, after which Yim was attacked backstage by Damage Control. Rhea Ripley beat Candice LeRae, and a vignette for the returning Cody Rhodes was aired. In ratings news, last Friday night's episode of SmackDown drew an average of 2.257 million viewers to Fox, down 14% from the previous week's 2.629 million, according to WrestleNomics. In the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic, the rating was 0.53, translating to 691,000 viewers, down 18% from the previous week. The episode came in at number 3 for the day on network TV in the key demographic. AEW Rampage later Friday evening drew 551,000 viewers to TNT, up 17.23% from the 470,000 who tuned in for the previous week's New Year's Bash episode, according to Showbuzz Daily. The rating in the key demographic was 0.15, up 25% from the 0.12 key demo rating for the previous week, according to WrestleNomics. For AEW's Battle of the Belts 5 special, which aired on TNT immediately after Rampage, viewership was lower than that of Rampage, with 409,000 tuning in, according to Showbuzz Daily. This was the second lowest viewed edition of Battle of the Belts, coming in ahead of the last special, which drew 317,000 viewers back in October. The rating in the key demo was 0.11, also the second lowest behind last October's special, which scored a 0.10 in the key demo rating, according to WrestleNomics. According to Post Wrestling's John Pollock, in Canada, Battle of the Belts 5 aired on TSN 5, averaging 10,000 English-language viewers and 7,000 in the 25 to 54-year-old demographic. Pollock notes that TSN did not carry Rampage, as it only streams in the country. Now with some WrestleMania news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Despite still being 3 months away, and without a single match announced, WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles' SoFi Stadium has already broken the all-time WrestleMania attendance gate record, according to an announcement yesterday from WWE. The previous record was set 7 years ago by WrestleMania 32, which finished with a $17.3 million gate for AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. The two-night WrestleMania 39 will be held at SoFi Stadium on Saturday, April 1st and Sunday, April 2nd. The live gate for the first WrestleMania back in 1985 at Madison Square Garden was $502,000. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In more ticket sales news, tomorrow night's taping of AEW Dynamite and Rampage at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, still has 2,030 tickets available for sale as of a WrestleTix report yesterday afternoon. 8,188 tickets have been distributed out of the current 10,218 seat setup. Turning to Japan, Stardom's Triangle Derby tournament continued Monday with one match on the company's show inside the Tosho Arena Anjo in Aichi, Japan. Tam Nakano bounced back from her IWGP World Women's title defeat at the hands of Kairi on January 4th and led her team to a victory in the red block of the trios tournament. Nakano teamed with Natsupoi and Saki to defeat Waka Tsukiyama, Rina Amakura, and Yuko Sakurai. The entire show has been put up for free on the company's YouTube page. Stardom also announced yesterday that vocal cheering would be allowed back at their shows beginning with the February 4th show in Osaka when Giulia defends her newly won World of Stardom title against Suzu Suzuki. In injury news, Jacob Fatu sustained a knee injury at last weekend's MLW Blood and Thunder taping in Philadelphia, according to a Fightful report yesterday. The injury occurred during Fatu's match with Ben Kay. The severity of the injury hasn't been made public, and it's not known if Fatu will have to take any time away from the ring. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. With some MLW action figure news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Major League Wrestling's first ever series of figures is now available for pre-order, according to an MLW press release. Produced and sold by BossFightShop.com, the figures line includes MLW World Champion Alex Hammerstone, Jacob Fatu, and Mads Kruger, as well as Killer Cross, who appeared briefly in MLW earlier this year before returning to WWE as Karrion Kross. Although pre-orders are being taken, there is no word on when figures will be shipped. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In news from outside the ring, Tessa Blanchard and her husband of 2 years, independent luchador Dago, announced yesterday on their respective Instagram accounts that they have decided to divorce. Read the joint statement, quote, "After considerable thought, reflection, and mixed emotions, we have decided to separate. We are two strong-willed, hard-working, and resilient people who hold nothing but love for each other. As painful as divorce is, we are thankful that no infidelity or other interests were involved in our decision, and we are parting as friends." End quote. Blanchard and Dago, real name Miguel Olivo, were engaged in 2019 and married in 2020. And in some unfortunate news to report, Black Warrior, real name Jesus Toral Lopez, passed away yesterday at the age of 54. The nephew of Lucha Libre legend Blue Panther, Lopez debuted in 1984 and worked under several personas before settling on the Black Warrior identity in 1996. Lopez won several championships during his career, including 2 reigns as the NWA World Light Heavyweight Champion and 1 as the NWA World Middleweight Champion. After winning 4 consecutive mask versus mask or mask versus hair matches to begin his career, Lopez would lose his mask on September 29, 2006, dropping it to Mystico. Now known as Caristico, Mystico was one of the top wrestlers in the world at the time of the match, with Black Warrior's mask becoming the first he would claim. On July 23, 2017, the two had a mask versus hair rematch at Arena Naklopan, with Caristico once again getting the victory. Lopez had announced his retirement in 2013, but would wrestle on Independence, mostly in conjunction with friends and family members. One of Lopez's sons, Black Warrior Jr., passed away on March 17, 2022 at the age of 24, months after suffering paralysis when he was severely injured during a training session. At the time of his injury, Warrior Jr. was being looked at as a possible future star by CMLL. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the Wrestling News 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, For daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the wrestling news across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.